Hello, this is Professor Angelia with part two of Works of Art's Child Development and Psychology class. Last time we were talking about the fetal development, so we're going to continue now with multiple births in the United States. And I'm looking to the side instead of down this time because this binder's too big to put in front of me and have room right here on the table. Twins. 1 in 83 births. Triplets, 1 in 7,500 births. Quadruplets, 1 in 658,000 births. The occurrence of identical twins is thought to be random, and the rate around the world is about 3.5 per 1,000 births. The rate of dizygotic twinning around the world varies in racial groups, being twice as likely in blacks as in whites, and about half as great in Asians as in whites. The rate of dizygotic twinning is also related to age. Older mothers are more likely to have DZ twins, and multiple births are more likely to occur if the mother is taking fertility drugs. Prenatal care and the brain. Many researchers have suspected that infants must benefit from the close physical attention of their caregivers, but the extent and nature of the benefit was unclear. Now an increasing amount of biological research on animals is determining that while a number of factors are vital for proper brain development, physical attention appears to play a role in maintaining brain chemistry, brain architecture, and possibly some mental functioning. Researchers hope that the insights will lead to new strategies that can boost the effects of human parenting in normal situations, as well as treat neglected children. An aloof, detached, and withdrawn child has a severe mental disorder. How did it happen? Bad parents? Today, scientists know that this assumption is false. Research shows that a number of disorders, once blamed on bad parenting, actually are born of biology. It turns out, however, that a parent's care may be important in more subtle ways. An increasing number of biological studies on animals suggest that even though many other factors are important, a parent's caressing, cuddling, and coochie-coo playing plays a role in maintaining proper brain development in the infant. The research is leading to a new understanding of the importance of parenthood and treatments of severe parental neglect. Much of the research indicates that a parent's physical attention helps the stress system in the infant's brain develop and function normally. This system and its hormones help carry out physiological adjustments over the course of daily living and help you adapt to stressful events. It's thought, however, that abnormal functioning of the stress system can contribute to disease. Rodent studies show that babies who have increased physical contact with their moms also have positive alterations in their stress system for life. Rodent moms do not exactly cuddle their infants like humans, but they do provide physical care by licking and grooming them. In one study, moms and babies were briefly separated and reunited, which led to the moms to intensely lick and groom them. As adults, these rodents were more resistant to stressful situations and had less anxiety. The researchers also found that infant rodents who were naturally lavished by exceptional physical attention from their mothers had similarly stable stress responses and low anxiety in adulthood. So if you've got a lot of anxiety, Who might be to blame for that? On the flip side, animal research indicates that situations where babies are blocked from a parent's physical attention cause lifelong abnormalities in the stress system. So those people putting the baby in another room, they'll cry it out. That's what you're doing to your kid. In the studies, rodent infants were removed from their moms and placed in an incubator as a group for a few hours a day for several days. These animals had an increased response to stress in adulthood. It's thought that the lack of touch triggers an inappropriate activism of the stress system. Scientists found that merely stroking the infant rodents with a tiny brush could prevent many of the effects of the long separation. Researchers also have found that physical attention helps maintain the architecture of the brain and possibly certain memory abilities. Studies show that rodents who receive more physical attention in youth have less cell loss during old age in the hippocampus, a brain area important for memory. But disease can also steal that from you. These rats also perform better on certain memory tasks in old age. On the other hand, studies show that blocking the physical attention, turn the page, from a parent negatively changes the architecture of their baby's brain as well as certain memory abilities. One rodent study shows that long separation situations cause brain cells to die. Other new animal research shows that the separation results in impaired growth of brain cells in the hippocampus. Preliminary observations found that as adults, these animals perform poorly on certain learning and memory tasks. Researchers have yet to directly link the animal findings to humans. Some research, however, suggests that positive touch also is important for human development. For example, scientists found that neglected children from overcrowded, understaffed Romanian orphanages had abnormal stress systems. Moreover, the children with the most abnormal stress systems had the lowest scores on tests of mental and movement ability. Once a human effect is confirmed, scientists hope to find methods to treat children who come from an extreme situations of neglect. Already, researchers have found evidence in animals that certain therapies can reverse the effects of separation situations. It's also possible that further insight could lead to ways to boost the effects of parenting in normal situations. In the meantime, scientists say it can't hurt to dole out some extra hugs. Comparison of nutrient RDA of non-pregnant, pregnant, and lactating women. Now, I'm not going to go into all of this because this is a lot of information, and it's very scientific. And we don't, unless you're studying to be a prenatal nurse, you don't need to know all this stuff. And if you are, you're going to get that in your college books. So I don't need to go into all that. But energy allowance during pregnancy is for second and third trimesters. No additional allowance is provided during the first trimester. The increased need for iron in pregnancy cannot be met by diet or existing stores. Therefore, iron supplements are recommended during the second and third trimesters, and I'm allergic to those. When I take those, they break me out, so I couldn't take those. So what they were doing when I was pregnant was give me a shot, and that area still swelled up and was itchy, but it wasn't as bad when I took it, via mouth through the pills. Didn't make me throw up. The RDA for pregnant and lactating women are not specific to age, as they are for non-pregnant women. This figure uses women aged 19 to 24 years as the non-pregnant standard. For several of the nutrients the RDA do not differ during the childbearing years of 15 to 50. For a few, however, they do, and it is important to note that for protein and vitamin K, the RDA increased slightly with age. So increased needs during pregnancy are more dramatic for women in the younger age groups. For vitamin D, calcium, and phosphorus, the RDA decreased at 25 years. So increased needs during pregnancy are more dramatic for women over 25. And of course, what you're eating and taking when you're pregnant is going to help build your baby. So proper nutrition and taking vitamin supplements if you need them are very important for the development of your baby. Basically, your baby, you are what you eat. Your baby is what you eat. Trends in development. Prenatal care in the first trimester. Percentage of live births. Progress has been made, but more is needed. Okay, so if we start at the year 1987, overall, 76 out of 100 births survived. In African Americans, in the year 1987, 60.8% survived. In the Latinos, 61%. And these are with people who received prenatal care in the first trimester. They actually don't have a figure on those who didn't, because I guess they're not the type of people who would go and report they didn't have prenatal care and what happened afterwards. But by 1995, the overall rate went to 81.3. The African American went to 70.3. The Latino went to 70.8. And in the year 2000, it was 90% across the board. So people are learning that prenatal care is important to have healthy babies. Abstinence from tobacco use during pregnancy. Good progress has been made toward meeting this goal. Because when you smoke, your baby smokes too. Anyone who tells you different is just ignorant. So the percentage in 1985, 75% weren't smoking while they were pregnant. In 1995, it was 86%. And in 2000, it was 90%. So, like they said, there has been some progress made on that. Don't smoke while you're pregnant. Drinking during pregnancy. It's well known that pregnant women who drink alcohol put their unborn children at risk for developing a range of problems. Now, the latest research clarifies how alcohol can harm brain function by uncovering some of alcohol's specific influences on the developing brain. The findings may help researchers devise new methods to improve the diagnosis of alcohol-related impairments, as well as new strategies to aid those affected by alcohol exposure before birth. The woman raises her glass and drinks the ice-cold draft. She's not drinking alone. An unborn baby joins in. Alcohol, whether from beer, wine, or a cocktail, travels with the blood of a pregnant drinker, enters the womb, and passes to her developing baby. Unfortunately, this is no party. In past years, the medical community determined that pregnant women who drink alcohol put their unborn children at risk for developing an array of abnormalities, including fetal alcohol syndrome, which they call FAS, which is characterized by a combination of facial malformations, stunted growth, and disorders of the brain. Impulsivity, poor judgment, inferior reasoning, poor memory, problems paying attention, poor coordination, and other signs of brain impairment also can occur in alcohol-exposed people without all the physical signs of FAS. Now, the latest research details some specifics on how alcohol can harm the brain development to create these brain-related deficiencies, including areas involved in movement and learning. are particularly vulnerable to alcohol exposure before birth. The insights are leading to an improved understanding of alcohol's effect on the developing brain, better methods for diagnosing alcohol-related impairments, new ideas on how to aid the afflicted. Brain areas that appear especially susceptible to alcohol exposure in the womb include the cerebellum and basal ganglia, areas thought to aid movement as well as some types of learning. Researchers imaged the brains of individuals exposed to alcohol before they were born and found that they had, on average, particular reductions in the size of their cerebellum and basal ganglia. Tests in rats show that even a single drinking episode can produce significant cell loss in the cerebellum when the episode occurs within the development phase comparable to the last 3 months of a human pregnancy. Other rodent tests indicate that the cell loss from drinking impairs movement and learning skills. Some evidence also suggests that another area important for learning, the hippocampus, is particularly vulnerable to alcohol. Even low doses of alcohol can affect the functions of the hippocampus, according to one study in rats. Mothers consumed alcohol until their blood levels mimicked what is found in a 120-pound woman who drinks 2 beverages in an hour and a half. Molecular measures and poor performance on a learning task signal that the hippocampus of their offspring is impaired. The corpus callosum, a structure that links the 2 sides of the brain, also seems highly sensitive to alcohol. Imaging techniques find that it's sometimes smaller and missing in people exposed to alcohol before birth. Also, studies of people with FAS, or those who experience alcohol exposure but lack the facial features required for a FAS diagnosis, indicate that the corpus callosum is often oddly positioned or shaped. Specific differences in position and shape seem associated with problems in movement, word learning, or executive function, a skill important for organizing and planning. These discoveries and others may help scientists design precise tests that measure brain structure and their related impairments to better identify those with alcohol-related problems. The new insights also may help researchers develop targeted ways to aid the afflicted. Already, scientists have evidence in animals that certain techniques may mend some damage in specific brain structures. Rats exposed to alcohol received a complex training regimen when they were adults. The training increased connections between the cells in the cerebellum and improved their movement abilities. The researchers plan to see if the change also improves performance on a test that measures a basic learning skill. Others have found evidence in animals that certain compounds may protect brain structures from alcohol exposure in the womb. Of course, pregnant women can provide the best protection of all by leaving their drinks at the bar. Pregnant women who drink put their babies at risk for developing a pattern of abnormal facial features. The features include a thin upper lip and a flattened or indistinct groove, termed the philtrum. It's this thing right here. Mine's definitely not indistinct. That normally runs under the nose to the lip. But, more seriously, people exposed to alcohol in the womb, born with or without these facial features, can harbor a variety of brain problems. Evidence culled from examinations of humans and animals indicates that the proper development of certain brain areas, including the cerebellum, basal ganglia, the hippocampus, and corpus callosum, are particularly vulnerable to alcohol exposure in the womb. So don't drink, ladies, while you're pregnant. Fetal alcohol syndrome. Progress has not been made on this objective, and the incidence has been moving away from the year 2000 objective. It is not clear whether this increase is due to improved reporting or to an actual rise in the incidence of fetal alcohol syndrome. So in 87, you had a rate per 1,000 live births 0.22. In 93, you had 0.67, so that's up quite a bit. And the year 2000 goal was 12, and they did not meet that. It just keeps going up. So, they're concerned at why people are continuing to drink while they're pregnant when all the doctors and everybody are telling you, don't do this. Your little bit of fun isn't worth, messing up your child's life. Helping older siblings adjust to their baby sib. And I've had to do this twice. I had 3 sons, so, every time a new one came along, the other ones, there's always some adjustment issues. You've just come home from the hospital with your new baby, and your older child begins behaving in perplexing ways. Your 2-year-old hits your leg as you walk in the door and runs away. Your nearly 3-year-old, who has been dry for over 6 months, starts to have bathrooming accidents on a regular basis. The 4-year-old starts refusing to go to preschool, even though he has been excited about going. What's happening here? This is supposed to be a happy time. Maybe you're experiencing something that almost all families experience with the addition of more children to that family, namely sibling rivalry. Sibling rivalry is defined as the competition between siblings for the love, approval, and attention of one or both parents. It is completely natural for older children to feel jealous toward a new baby. From the older child's viewpoint, the new baby receives all the attention, visitors, gifts, and special handling. The older child often feels displaced, frustrated, angry, and even unloved. Suppose your spouse comes home one day and says, "Honey, you're just going to be so excited. I'm bringing home another spouse to share our home, and you're going to really like her. She's little and so cute, and you can help take care of her, and it will be so much fun." It's hard for parents to understand why the child that they love so much would not like to have a new brother or sister. It's because they feel threatened. Basically, they don't want to share your time and affection with someone else. What sibling rivalry might look like. The most common symptom of this rivalry is lots of demand for attention. The older child may want to be held and carried about, especially when the mother is busy with the newborn. Other symptoms include regressive behavior, such as thumb sucking, bedwetting, and soiling. Aggressive behavior, such as handling the baby roughly, can also occur. The peak age for this kind of sibling rivalry is 1 to 3 years, but it can be seen in 4 and 5-year-olds. If not handled properly, children can carry negative feelings about their brothers or sisters into their teens and even into adulthood. Before the baby comes home. Before the baby is born, it is important to prepare the older child. This can help a great deal to minimize the feelings of jealousy. Some things you can do are talk about the pregnancy. Have your older child feel your baby's movements. Encourage your older child to help you prepare the baby's room. Move your older child to a different room or big bed several months before the baby's birth if she's going to have to change. Read books together about what happens during pregnancy as well as after the baby is born. Look through family photographs and talk about your older child's first year of life. Refer to the new baby as our baby. After the baby arrives. Call your older child daily from the hospital. Try to have your older child visit with the baby and you in the hospital. And I was in Norton's Pavilion with two of them that's not even there anymore. But they gave them little T-shirts, say "I'm a big brother," and that was kind of cool to them to put that shirt on once they got it and come back to the hospital wearing the "I'm a big brother" shirt, and they enjoyed that. When you return home from the hospital, spend your first moments with the older child. Have someone else carry the new baby in the house. Give the older sibling a gift from the new baby. Ask visitors to give extra notice to the older child. Have your child unwrap the baby's gifts. Adjustments in the newly expanded family. Children react differently to the change in their family. Some children are openly angry with the new baby. Some are kind to the baby but angry with their mothers. And some breeze right through the change without any trouble at all. Each child's response is unique, but all children will benefit from the following tips. Tell your child often what a special big brother or big sister they are. A 20 to 30 minute daily playtime alone with either mom or dad and the older child has proven to be one of the most helpful things parents can do to minimize sibling rivalry. Your older child will feel more kindly toward the baby if he knows he has some special time with you to count on later. If your child is showing some negative feelings toward the baby, you could ask, do you sometimes wish the baby would go away? Be sure to accept your child's answers as well as any negative feelings they might express, because they're going to be honest with you. Since they need to know that you care about their feelings. Empathize that while it's okay to be mad at the baby, it's never okay to hit or hurt the baby. Offer them another behavior when they are upset with the baby. For example, when you're upset with the baby, come to me for a big hug. Notice how your child interacts or plays well with the baby and encourage that. For example, I saw how gently you touched the baby's cheek. You really know how to be a big brother. Or, look how happy she gets when you play with her. Also encourage your child to help with the baby's care by bringing a diaper and holding the baby in a chair with arms with you right there. Some families make a nursing box for the older child to play with while mom is feeding the baby. It can have special toys in it and is only available during nursing time. Interest in the box can be maintained by changing the toys regularly. When you are busy with the baby, you can talk to the older child about what you're doing. Continue to give the older child attention by noticing and commenting on his behavior as a way of including him or her in that busy time. Children who grow up in a loving, open and giving home develop the self-esteem they need to grow into adults who like and enjoy their brothers and sisters. Stages of labor. And I'm not going to get into this because, if you take any type of prenatal class, you have seen this. But of course, the position of the fetus changes near birth. He goes to head down to get ready to be born. The dilation stage, that's where your cervix is opening from, the regular, not very much at all, to 10 centimeters, getting ready for that baby's head to come through. And then you're having uterine contractions. If you ever had a baby, you know about those. They are going to push the baby lower into the uterus and cause the cervix to dilate. And then there's the expulsion stage. The fetus is expelled through the cervix and vagina. The placental stage, when the placenta is delivered. Okay, and that was our class bell, so that's all for today. I hope that you found this educational or informative or even just entertaining. Like and subscribe, and I'll leave a link in the description so that you can donate to help me continue this ministry if you like it. Until next time.